Hello and welcome to another Magic Sven video. I am Magic Sven and today we're playing a little bit of Historic and we're doing a little bit of life gain shenanigans here. Um, so in the new Innistrad set, this card came out and it's sort of like a Soul Warden type effect. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. This only works for creatures under your control, but that doesn't matter too much. We are a deck full of creatures. It's nice to trigger off our opponent's stuff, but we don't mind just triggering when our creatures enter the battlefield. So we've got this effect, another version of this effect. Prosperous Innkeeper is yet another version of this effect. And also, comboing with all this stuff gaining us life when creatures enter, are every kind of a Johnny's Pride mate in the world. So we've got a Johnny's Pride mate. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Pride mate. So how this usually works, you put out a Soul Warden, then you put out a Johnny's Pride Mite. It immediately becomes a 3/3, and then every creature you play after that keeps getting you counters. And the more of these effects you have out, the taller a Johnny's Pride Mate can get. So we have a Johnny's Pride Mate, we have Hollowed Priest, which is the same, only it's a 1/1 to start with, and we have Tre Lesara. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but same effect, but also you get to scry one whenever this happens. So the bottom end of the deck is very consistent. Really, there's only like 2 types of cards: the ones that gain life when creatures come into play, and the cards that get +1/+1 counters whenever you gain a life. Once you get up into the 3 spot, we actually have an infinite combo here. So, Heliod Suncrowned. It can turn into a creature when your devotion to white is 5 or more, so that means you have 5 white mana symbols out on the battlefield. But more importantly, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. So you can imagine this is already pretty good with all of our Soul Warden effects. Each one of these triggers a Heliod Suncrown, keep putting +1/+1 counters on guys. And that's all pretty good. Works quite well with the rest of the deck. But what it really combos off with is when you have a Soul Warden effect, a Heliod Suncrowned, and a Scurry Oak. And Scurry Oak is whenever a +1/+1 is put onto Scurry Oak, you get to make a 1/1 green squirrel creature. So there's an infinite combo here, and it's having Heliod, Scurry Oak, and one of these effects out. Basically, you get out Soul Warden, Heliod, and if you play a Scurry Oak or gain life while all 3 of those are out, you get Heliod will trigger to put a +1/+1 counter on any creature. You put it on Scurry Oak. Scurry Oak makes a squirrel, which triggers your Soul Warden effect, which triggers your Heliod to put a +1 on Scurry Oak, which makes a squirrel, which puts a life for Soul Warden, and etc. etc. You go infinite, you get infinite squirrels, an infinitely tall Scurry Oak, and infinite life. Now, since this is Magic Arena, we can't just say, here's the loop, I do it 1,000,000,000 times. We have to do it probably about 30 before Magic Arena starts complaining about we need to take another action. But 30 squirrels, 30/30 Scurry Oak, usually enough to win the game. Not really a problem. So that's the infinite combo. There's a couple Skyclaves in here just to fill out the deck, and it's just a very good creature. It removes a 4 or less mana value permanent from the battlefield temporarily until it gets removed, and then if it does get removed, they get a token with Star Power and Toughness, where that was the mana value of the thing you removed. And Collected Company, which really helps tie everything together, lets you get your full combo out. So the aim of the deck is really to do the combo, but it's also perfectly valid just to play some Soul Warden effects and some of Johnny's Pride Mates and just beat down. What happens a lot is you'll end up starting off with this curve, and your opponent will need to deal with this, or else they can risk really falling behind. But once they have gotten rid of this stuff, they think they're safe, that's when you combo off. I've been having pretty good success with the deck so far in the queues. It's been doing pretty well. So, let's take it for a spin. We'll be back for round 1. And we are back for round 1. Looks like we've got a pretty good hand here. We're going to lead with Soul Warden into a Pride Mate effect, and then we've got a little bit of combo stuff for later in the game. Looking pretty good. We're going to keep that. Lead off with our Soul Warden. Pass to the opponent, who's got Goblin Sleeve, so we might be looking at a Goblin deck over there. I'm going to attack first. If they want to bolt it or shock this guy, that's fine. But they didn't, so let's play our Pride Mate. I could see some argument for playing the Innkeeper here. We're a little worried about hitting our third land drop, so hopefully this will be enough. Looks like they are a Goblin deck. Well, we didn't hit that third land drop, but I think I'm still perfectly happy just running out Pride Mates. They're going to help grow these guys a lot, and eventually they're going to have to start chumping if they don't have too much stuff out. So here's the Chieftain, and you'll notice that Soul Warden triggers with their creatures too, so they don't really have any attacks. Oh wow, what do I know? I guess they're just done, okay. Well, that was a little surprising. I think a Muxus still could have got us if they had something like that, but seems like they just couldn't deal with what we had out there, or maybe they didn't see that a Pride Mate had grown beyond their creatures at this point. A little unfortunate, but we'll be back for round 2. Back with the next round here, and we've got another good hand. We've got our 1-drop for gaining us life. We've got a Johnny's Pride Mate, Heliod as part of the combo. Yeah, this hand looks pretty good, and if we ever draw a Scurry Oak, we might just win on the spot, so we will be keeping this hand. Opponent is on the play. Looks like they kept 7, I think. And there's a burn deck, it appears. Now, you might think that this would be a good matchup for burn, but I found that usually if they just torch the right guys, shock, bolt everything that kind of stands in their way, then it's usually not too much of a problem for them to beat us. We'll see how it goes, though. I think the opponent will probably attack for 1 here, pass the turn. No reason for them not to. I'm definitely not going to block. A little unfortunate we have to shock ourselves this turn, but I don't think there's really a way around it. I will be happy to play Johnny's Pride Mate, even though there's pretty good odds that they're going to do 3 damage to it. It looks like they might actually just be damaging me. Could very well do, everything. No, they're probably just trying to turn on their Skewer the Critics. Still not blocking. Second Heliod, not nearly as exciting as the first. We're going to play an Innkeeper. I think just getting multiple triggers of gaining life is just going to be super important. So the more of these guys we can get out, the better. Our opponent probably is going to be doing a lot of damage to us. They drew a Skewer, which is worth 5 points of burn just by itself, with these 2 Thermo Alchemists out. And they do just smack us around. Another Skewer. And at this point we have to chump because there's... if we take this, we just die on the spot. I think what I'm going to do is just chump with the 1 creature. If I want any chance of staying in this thing, I'm probably going to need all the life gain triggers that I can possibly get. And save as much life as possible. Unfortunately, I can't really put them at a clock. On a clock, that is. Pretty nice to go back up to 10. Might be shocking one of my guys. No, it doesn't look like it. And here's the end of turn pings. It does actually let me get in for a damage. I think I'll take it. Actually, no, I changed my mind. 1 point of damage is not going to be the difference maker here. If they attack with Gitu Lava Runner, I think I will double block. It did not. Here's Heliod. And I will send in my Luminous Phantom. I'll give him lifelink too. They might shock this, but that's okay. And I will put the counter on there, so each turn I can keep gaining life and keep putting counters on them. Okay, so this is putting me down to dead. Yeah, I'm just dead. So nothing I really could have done about that. They just had all the burn. The burn to kill me. I think I needed one more turn or one more creature. Something to trigger all my Soul Warden effects again. Just playing Heliod, gaining 1 life is like not really doing enough. I needed to gain 3 there. So close match. Probably needed one more draw to really get back into this thing. Tough to beat 2 Thermal Alchemists. Alright, we'll be back for the next round. Here for round number 3. Looks like we got a pretty good hand here. We've got our Soul Warden into Johnny's Pridemate, so we're going to be happy to keep this on the play, which is always nice. And we're going to start with Soul Warden. Looks like might be playing against elves this time. I like Soul Warden particularly against elves because we do get a lot of triggers. The Pridemate plan usually doesn't go that well because they'll just sort of generate infinite chump blockers. But if they don't get out, the War Master or something that generates a bunch of 1/1 elves, then sometimes you can punch through. But like I said, gaining all the life is pretty nice too. I do like drawing the land here. Now I can hit for 6. They'll probably just let it through. I guess I would play this and then this, and that would let me crunch in for 7, 8, 9. That seems okay. The alternative is playing Heliod and hoping I can combo off shortly after. How do I feel about their board? It's not that threatening just yet. Heliod does let me build up a good amount of tokens or counters on the Soul Warden, which helps blocks out a lot. So yeah, I'm going to say let's go for Heliod and give ourselves a chance to combo off next turn. I'm not going to attack because I don't really plan to win like this. I mean, if I attack now, they'd probably just chump with Dwinian's Elite. No tax. This means they've got Collected Company in their hand. Collected Company, I don't know if I talked about, but it is look at the top 6 and put 2 creatures into play. They did not go that way, so let's put the counter here. Unfortunately, did not draw the 4th mana. But we're going to play the other Pridemate. I'll put a counter here. Put a counter here. And I know I said I don't think we're going to punch through with these guys, but I think I am going to attack with one at least. Next turn they'll have a lot of mana to just pump all their elves if that's what they want to do. But this will keep them a little bit on the back foot. Again, hopefully we can just draw the land, Coco into our last combo piece, or just draw our last combo piece. Either way would be pretty good. So here we're getting a couple triggers. So I'm going to put this here. The reason is I want to be able to beat an elf in combat. No attacks from the opponent. So we got our land. I'm going to play the Coco. And that should be the combo. We'll take our actions here. And they've conceded. They see the combo, we've gone infinite, and there's not really anything they can do. The best they could hope was to have a Crater Hoof in their hand or ready to go. Odds are pretty decent they could play it next turn, so this is just kind of a pain more than anything else if they did have Crater Hoof. If they did, they could cast it and play it. Yeah, they could play it, but then I get to go off again because I gain a life for Soul Warden and get to make infinite squirrels again. So no matter how big their creatures are getting next turn, I can still just make more infinite squirrels. Here, I'd probably make something like 30 squirrels, gain 30 life, say go, and that really should do it. Alright, we'll be back for the next round. Back with the next round, and we've got a pretty interesting hand here. The thing is, we don't have any of our Soul Warden effects, but we do have the rest of the combo in hand. I think I'm going to keep this and just hope to draw one of those effects. We've got so many in the deck. There's 12 of those effects in the deck. Seems like we should get there. We're going to keep it. Now that's famous last words. Looks like we're facing elves again. Luckily did draw the Soul Warden effect. Might not be enough to keep up with the fastest of elf starts, so we'll see what our opponent does here. Okay, looks like they're shamans. So this makes all the green and red spells cost less. This draws a card when it enters. I'm just going to play Heliod here. No attacks. They might hit me for a bunch here, but it's unlikely that they'll be able to kill me. And usually this deck doesn't play too much interaction, so we'll see what they do. Burning Tree Emissary is pretty nice. It's kind of just a free 2/2. And again, I'm just hoping that they don't kill me, because if they don't, then we just win. Just tap out for, yeah, something like that. Okay, so this is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. Not enough to kill me. No blocks. And that should do it. We'll see if our opponent is into conceding or not. So we get infinite squirrels, infinite life. This is the combo at its purest. One Soul Warden effect, one Heliod out, and Scurry Oak. And I'm actually going to pause the video here because this isn't that interesting if my opponent wants to let me just sit here and do this, so I'll be right back. And opponent saw what was going on and decided to concede. Looks like I made about 30 squirrels, got to 30 life before they let their head explode. I was legitimately worried about, if they did something like play a Rage Forager or like even worse, like Burning Tree into Double Rage Forger, that they could deal a ton of damage to me. Probably not like 50, but not that far off. The only thing is, if they did put another creature out, then I would get to go off again. Well, actually, no, that's not true because I had Lunarch Veteran out, so I don't gain life when their creatures come into play. So really, I had to go probably a good, maybe like up to 50, something like that, just in case. But they apparently didn't have that, or just knew that if we were playing in paper that that wouldn't be a thing, and conceded, which we very much appreciate because this is a lot of clicking. All right, we'll be back for the next round. Here with the next round. Interesting hand. We do have two parts of the combo, and we're going first. I think on the play, this is probably a keep. It's doing just enough. It's close. This is kind of a mulligan as it is, but we're going to keep it. I think on the draw, I might mulligan this hand. Just because we really do want a 1-drop to be our life gain. Looks like we're playing one of the new Delver decks. If you're unfamiliar with Delver, they look for an instant or sorcery on top of their library at the beginning of their upkeep. If they find one, then this flips into a 3/2 flyer. These decks are very effective. They run a lot of counter spells and burn, which is two things I don't really want to face. Just the way they're hovering here makes me think that they probably have a burn spell. They're just determining if now's the time to use it. Looks like they decided against it. I'm going to play Heliod because I don't really care if this gets countered. I don't want it to get memory lapse because I want to draw new and exciting cards, but any other kind of counterspell is a-okay, really. They do just let it resolve. I don't really see a reason to attack right now. And they're playing the new cantrip Consider, which is look at the top card, and you may draw it, or put it in your graveyard and then draw the next one. Unholy Heat, that's not one I wanted to see. So this is a 1 mana, 2 damage to creature planeswalker. If you have Delirium, it does 6 damage instead. Pretty darn strong. Collected Company is great. Unfortunately, with their 2 blue mana up, I'm not feeling very strong about throwing that out there. But it just immediately resolved, which makes me think that it could actually be okay, or it would have resolved. So we're gonna attack. No blocks from the opponent. Not too surprising. It seems like they might have some kind of instant, but they didn't play it. So here comes the Insectile Aberration. Not going to block it. As of now, Unholy Heat can only do 2 damage. Looks like they're going to Pillar Flame to take out our Prosperous Innkeeper. I was thinking about giving this lifelink in a turn just because that could tell me if they've got something that cares about instants. Looks like they do have something at instant speed. Yeah, there's a negate. Ugh. Unfortunately, this turns on their Dragon Rage Channeler. think here I am going to attack. If they want to trade, that's fine. I'm actually losing the race right now. And I'm going to give this lifelink. So now it'll be a 4-4, gain me 3 back. I get to put more counters on here. Unfortunately, that still means it's just dead to Unholy Heat. Things are looking pretty rough right now. Yep, there's the Unholy Heat to take out the Pride Mate. Ugh, another land. That's not what we want. And we're on a 2-turn clock. Seems like they've got counter spells up. This one's looking really bad. Real bad. Hit me for 6 and probably just pass the turn. Yeah, I think this is a pretty awful matchup. It's all burn spells and counter spells. And efficient threats. So no blocks, we take our medicine. We need collected company. Okay, that's collected company. So I'm going to play this. Oh, I could see playing it untapped if they had a mana leak, but I think the mana leak in the format makes you pay 4 more. So I'm going to let it enter tapped. And we're going to say pass. We're going to do it on their upkeep. Or if they crack this, I might do it now in response. They did not. So let's play this. I think it's still likely to get countered, and if it does, then we're just dead. Okay, it did not, which is good. We almost comboed off here, but we didn't get there. These cards are all fine, but they don't win the game, unfortunately. And we'll just concede, because they've got 6 power in the air. We're not gaining any life. We do get to make a squirrel, but that's not what we're here to do. So, unfortunate. Closer than I thought, but didn't quite get there on that one. Be back for the next round. And we're back with the next round. We've got a pretty good hand here. I like this one. We've got our 1-drops and a Johnny's Pride Mate to follow it up. I think this hand would be better on the play, but aren't they all? 2 collected companies is nice. Might let us hit our combo in the late game. Another red player. Looks like they're a more creature-focused version of the deck. So we'll start with a white land. What's happening? And put out our Lunarch Veteran. Hoping to draw lands more than anything else these next few turns. I don't mind that too much. Still not going to block. This guy has first strike. They could be straight up knights. This deals with knights. This is a knight. We'll see if that's the case. Anyway, we're going to put out our Johnny's Pride Mate. I think I will attack. This guy can't block, and I don't really want to block either of their guys. Very happy we drew the land last turn, of course. If they attack with both, we're probably just going to let it all through. I think an attack with both means they have something like a shock. Now, they do have a frostbite anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, but... Okay, Robber of the Rich. I am richer than my opponent right now, so they are going to pseudo-draw a card. It was a land. I would love to get Heliod out, but I don't think I can afford to right now. I'm just going to play Pride Mate, pass the turn. I might be priced into blocking a Rimrock Knight here. Okay, there's a Anax. So I expect this is a... I don't think they're going to send Robber in. Okay, so they let that all go. Yeah, I expect this is an Embercleave deck. I'm just going to play as many of these guys as I can. This will make Heliod Suncrowned into a creature next turn, which is nice. And if they attack with all, you know we've got Embercleave coming. Yep, and here it comes. How do we not die to Embercleave? Is there a way? So say it gets put on here, we take something like 12, 13, 14. I think we're just going to try and eat everything over there. Let's block a little bit better than that. I think we can do a little bit better. So if I take this, put it on to here. Now let's put this here, and this here. There's the Embercleave. Oh yeah, actually this is just dead. I could have stayed alive if I had blocked better. I did the math wrong. But I still don't think we were probably getting out of that one. Yeah, deck definitely has trouble with Embercleave on to an Anax. Good old Throne of Eldraine cards coming in, doing their thing, still in Historic. Alright, we'll be back for another round. And back with another round here. We've got a nice hand, 2 Soul Wardens, and a Johnny Pridemate combo piece, and a Coco. Looks great. We're going to lead with our Soul Warden. See what our opponent's up to. No companions. Could be anything. Alright, some kind of a blue-red thing. I'm going to play a Pridemate here. Hit in. I kind of want to get Pridemate out of range of something really difficult. So there's some kind of graveyard deck. I'm glad I played the Pridemate now, because I want to kill them as fast as I can. They got a Phoenix in the yard, which is not so scary for me. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had a shock. I wouldn't be shocked. Ha ha ha. Looking for a land next turn, of course. Okay, there's the Unholy Heat, not too surprising. And we didn't draw our land, so that's a little unfortunate. But I'm just going to get out as many of these guys as I can. They can't burn them all at this rate. I mean, maybe they can, but that doesn't seem like quite the way to win. Hopefully this should be out of range. The Pridemate should be out of range of most of their threats at this time. Or most of their burn spells, that is. Wouldn't be shocked to see the Phoenix get out of the yard here. But again, 3 damage in the air, not really a big deal for us. 6 damage in the air with 2 Phoenixes, a little more concerning. Very likely that they've got what they need to do that. They do have Delirium, so if they drew Unholy Heat and a red land, then they might have something good going on us. So if you don't know this card, it's at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you cast 3 or more spells, it comes back. So they've played 2 already. There's the third. Luckily, it's not a burn spell to take out one of our guys. The Phoenixes do come back, but we're going to gain 2 life, grow our Pridemate even more. Yep, and they will hit us. Though, unfortunately, still no lands. But we're gaining a lot of life. We're attacking for more damage than they are. And we're buffering our life total in a way that they have not. Heliod at the moment is still not a creature. Okay, looks like they're gonna double spell to get rid of the Pride Mate. Ooh, Finale of Promise and a Faithful Suiting. Okay. So that it's unfortunate, but that was a lot of work to do that. And they can't really attack with, definitely not with both Phoenixes, maybe just the one. Okay, and they decide not to. I'm gonna play my another Soul Warden effect. No attacks, can't get in. Really just want to draw lands. Not surprising they attack with one of these guys this turn. Okay, there's a Dragon Rage Channeler. And gain a couple life. Terralease is nice. Okay, definitely don't want another Heliod. I will take the land. And it looks like they've got another Unholy Heat here. I think they should have done this before I started scrying stuff. But I won't complain. They give it us for 9 if they want. They do not. Another Phoenix. So we're going to gain even more life. Heliod, unfortunately, is not a creature at the moment, but it's not too bad. So now they've got 12 flying. Still not enough to, like, clock us. A 2-turn clock. We want a land or a Scurry Oak into a land. Okay, there's another creature, which does let us grow our dorks. And I think we... Oh. They didn't like that. Okay. Fair enough. I think I was going to win this game, but I don't know if it was quite time to concede just yet. My hand is pretty bad if I don't draw land. If I drew like another one of these guys, like I can stall for a long time. Maybe that's enough. Not sure. The fact that I got them down to 5 early, I think, was really what put this away. Otherwise, they'd be attacking me for 12 in the air if they had a buffer life total. They had like 12 life or something. I think they'd feel pretty safe attacking me. But given where they were at, it was not quite enough. An interesting play I could make next turn was just run out a Heliod. It would come in as a creature. I'd have to pick one, but I would still get some triggers and pile up counters on top of my guys. So yeah, that was a pretty good match. We'll be back for deck tech and wrap up. So how do we feel about Scurry Clerics in Historic? I think the deck seemed pretty strong. This combo is definitely powerful. Definitely feels good to go off and make infinite squirrels. This shell, I think, is also pretty good. It's just so consistent, and it turns out a lot of the time a Soul Warden into an Ajani's Pride Mate can really actually just close out the game real quick, even if I never do get to combo off and make an infinite squirrels. It's just a pretty powerful interaction. There could be a better shell for this. I'm not sure what it is. I think you want to maximize these effects if you're trying to run this combo. And if you're maximizing these effects, you want these effects to do something. So that's why I thought this shell seemed like the way to go. I really like Terra Lisa. It's Trey Lasara. Just because scrying to whatever you need when you need it is very effective, very useful. Even though it's legendary, I think it's worth playing all 4 copies of the card. So very consistent, not too difficult to play. There is a fair amount of clicking and executing the combo, but I think the deck's very strong and could be a contender in the historic format as of right now. Very glad they printed a new human cleric, 1-drop for us in Innistrad. Really makes this deck tick. I think this wouldn't be there if I had to run something else that costs 2 mana. I think there's a 2 mana one that does the life gain when your creatures come into play, but obviously that's a lot worse than a 1-drop that does it and then even has upside in the disturb cost. Well, thanks for watching. It's been fun, and I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.